turn your ringer down too. I always forget to do that.
Yes.
Mine's always off.
There you go. That's a good way to.
Yeah, it's constantly on silent, but then I still have the vibrate.
There you go.
Same. All right, so it's happening now. I see it.
Yep, it's live.
I've never shared a Facebook Live thing before.
Yeah, you got to find the page, and then
so it's happening.
what always ends up happening is it starts auto playing the audio, and then I spend 10 seconds trying to turn that off.
I've never shared a Facebook Live thing before.
Yeah, you got to find the page. There it is. And it always ends up happening is it starts auto playing the audio, and then I spend 10 seconds trying to turn that off. There we go. All right, it's up.
Well, it's repeating it.
There it is.
It's repeating it.
It's an endless loop. It's Inception.
Yo, what up, Fish? There he is.
Fish. Is the beer, bourbon, and games guy up near you? You guys ever talk to him, Chris? I don't know if he's like more. Is Reading considered? It's not considered Lehigh Valley, is it?
No.
Nah, a little bit outside.
Just a bit outside. Sixers up 13. 3 minutes left in the half.
Nice.
Ooh. I wish that meant something.
I know.
Probably win by like 2.
Is Dallas any good? I know they have Luka, but is their team any good?
Not in the West. Not by the West standards.
Yeah.
They'd probably clean up in the East.
All right, I think that's good enough to get things rolling. All right. Hey, McCall's in the chat.
That may or may not be me.
All right. You guys ready to get things going? What do you say?
Ready to rock?
Yeah.
Ready?
All right.
Do it.
Music. Yo, Taylor. Taylor?
Yes.
I can't hear your audio.
You can't hear me.
I could barely hear. I can hear you. I barely heard the sounder, so I wasn't even sure if you were playing anything like we normally do.
Then just forget about it.
Can you guys hear it?
Oh, no.
No, it's the same as what you just said.
I'll tell you what. Just do it, and I'll put it in later.
All right, let's do that then. That's so weird.
Oh, he's going to
doing
be
that tonight.
Taylor. He's going to be screwed up for the whole episode now.
Yep.
He's gone.
The whole equilibrium's
about him.
gone. Just
It
forget
doesn't
about
take
it.
much. I'm just gonna play it in my head, I guess, for a second, and then try to hit the post and miss it anyway.
I don't know why it's doing that.
You gonna try it one more time or no?
No, go ahead.
All right, here we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Might Be Brews, a very special milestone, episode 50, the podcast where we explore the people, places, and brews of the craft beer world. My name is John. With me, as always, Mr. Steve. How you doing?
Sprinkles.
And my brother.
The commercial.
And-
Come on.
I didn't get it.
God, you guys suck. Come on. Scoop, there it is. Scoop, there it is.
Swing and a miss.
It's the best commercial on TV
Over my
right
head.
now. God.
Completely over my head. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry. And I messed up Taylor's intro anyway, so I get another chance. The man behind the board, my brother Taylor. How are you?
I'm good. How you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing good. This is so weird. Everything about it.
What's going to be great is on the podcast. What's going to be great is on the podcast when the music is playing and we're pretending that it's not. Because I'm actually a good.
I did promise them that we were a first-class production, so
right. Yeah. We're off to a great start.
All right, before we introduce our guests, make sure you check out the brand new mbnnetwork.com. It's never been easier to find your new favorite podcast. Help us make this show bigger and better than ever before. Become a patron on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/mbnnetwork. Sign up to get bonus episodes and to be entered into monthly giveaways and more. And shout out to our sponsors, Eunomia CBD. That's EUNOMIACBD.com. Use promo code MBN for 20% off, free shipping, and a free gift. That's EunomiaCBD.com. So this week, our guests are the people behind Lehigh Valley Beer Week. So first, let's introduce the president of Lehigh Valley Beer Week is it Wilbur Mansion?
Correct.
Jesse. How you doing, Jesse?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing good. Thank you so much for being here. The treasurer of Lehigh Valley Beer Week from Spinnerstown Hotel. Anna, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for being here. All right. And Craig, I don't know what your official title is, Craig. I didn't find that, but Craig.
I think it's actually new kid on the block.
There you go.
I'm the new guy on the board.
So you've actually been on the show before when we did the special episode for McCall. So thanks for coming back and hanging out.
My pleasure.
Absolutely. All right. So for the new people to the show, Jesse and Anna, we like to get to know a little bit about your beer background. So I looked at like the Spinnerstown website. It looks like you guys are heavy into craft beer, and that's, kind of part of what you do at the restaurant. Jesse, I know you've got a craft beer background as well, but I'll start with you, Anna. Do you remember that moment or that beer that kind of got you into really liking craft beer and making that part of your business?
Well, so I'm actually third generation at Spinnerstown Hotel.
Oh, wow.
And so my main influence in beer has always been my dad. He is huge into craft beer. He brought Belgian beer and all those weird styles kind of into Spinnerstown. And he was always the one that distributors, they were like, I have this keg. It's really expensive. I don't know what to do with it. And he said, bring it on. Let's do it. So he was a huge influence in my beer tastes and styles. And that kind of just morphed into, I just really absolutely love all of the IPAs and things that are going on with that. But I can still really enjoy those traditional Belgians, the Saisons and triples and things like that, which are more of his style, my dad's style. But I do remember the very first beer, aside from like sneaking ones from your parents, that I had was Young's Double Chocolate. It was just so good and delicious. I absolutely loved it. And so, and then somehow I just started moving into IPAs, and that's a big part of what I drink right now.
Yeah, awesome. Very cool history. I'm excited to learn more about Spinnerstown. If we'll roll back
There's
to
a lot
that
of history, that's for sure.
Awesome. Jesse, how about you? I mean, I think Mr. Steve actually saw some of the background that you have at different places that you've worked and being in the industry for a while. But do you remember having like maybe that gateway beer that got you into really wanting to be a part of craft beer?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess it would probably be in college, or we thought we were cool in high school. We were all 21 in high school.
Right.
We all drank Yingling in high school. When everyone brought, Natty Ice or Beast or whatever to a party, we snuck in bottles because we were that classy. We had bottles because it wasn't cool to drink canned beer at that point. We drank bottles of Yingling, and we thought that was we were pretty cool for that. And then going into college, we started home brewing in college, and then just kind of, they didn't call it craft beer then. It was like micro beers. So you go somewhere and it was like, oh, you could get import or domestic or micro. You know what I mean? And there'd be like one, it'd be like, I don't know, like Pete's Wicked Ale or like Sierra Nevada was always like the staple. So I think just being in college and home brewing, and then just kind of like, I remember going to one of my friends' parties who had an older brother, and him and his friends were drinking Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, and just trying one of those and being like, "Gah!" Like what is this? Like this is like just like taste, just like smack me in the face with all, and like that was like the hoppiest thing I've ever experienced at that point. And now now if you drink a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, it's like drinking like a light beer. But yeah, that's that's always I love beer, and I've always loved it, probably way earlier than I was supposed to. But yeah.
Nice. Craig, remind us, what was your gateway beer?
It was probably Magic Hat number 9.
Yeah.
I actually had it. It was probably the worst time to have it. It was tailgating at a Phillies game. It was like 90 degrees, and we had bottles of variety pack from Magic Hat. And number 9 just hit home for me. It was not a good beer to drink when it's like 90 degrees out, but it did it.
Yeah. Nice. All right, well, I guess, Jesse, this next one will probably be for you. If I understand it correctly, you're the founder, the one that started the Lehigh Valley Beer Week. Give us a little bit of history of, what the first one was like and why you started it.
Yeah. So, I was with the Brewworks then, and, we did a lot of different beer events and, beer festivals and things like that. And just being from the Valley, I guess the story I've told is, that I remember is just, I remember sitting on my back porch drinking a beer during Philly Beer Week, and just like, it just hit me that I just like, why don't we do this here? We do so much in the Lehigh Valley. There's so many cool festivals, and just wondering, why don't we do this here? And, I remember talking to people at first. I remember, and everyone thought I was crazy because like, that's you're going to try to get competition to work together. That's not, we don't do that. But just in being in the industry and doing beer festivals and stuff like that, and just being going to a lot of, going to Porter's, going to Spinnerstown, talking to Shangy's, people when I go there and stuff like that, just kind of realizing like, all right, this is like the group of people that, are into craft beer, and just kind of making some blind phone calls. I think Larry Porter from Porter's Pub in Easton might have been one of the first people I called, because I just know that, Porter's Pub was always like, the staple craft beer bar for me, and then just, having a meeting, and, we hooked up with Anna and her dad, John, at Spinnerstown, and Spinnerstown has been like, the craft beer place, that you could always get beer that you couldn't get anywhere else around forever. So just, and then, just Shangy's distributed our beer. So just having the connection with Shangy's, and then once we had, you kind of have all these, key players, that wanted to, didn't know what it would be, but just kind of like, yeah, sure. And then, after a lot of meetings, a lot of conversations, we pulled the first one off, by the skin of our teeth. And, I remember sitting in a booth, with Pat from Shangy's, who's on our board as well. And we were just literally just making events up, like, well, this bar said they'd be in, we're going to do, bells, and like, how can we make that? Like, we were like basically like making the events just based on what they had on tap, and then it got, it got picked up, and, people were into it. And, when we had the entire year to kind of plan out the next one, and then had a lot of meetings, and kind of, I think everyone in the Valley kind of saw, that we were onto something. And then, just, it means so much when, like I said, for me being just a craft beer fan, and just, with these restaurants that I go to, or these breweries that I go to, and just when they say like, yeah, we're on board, you're like, all right, So it would, Lehigh Valley Beer Week would be absolutely nothing if, if the Lehigh Valley wasn't so, into craft beer, and that the venues wouldn't be so cool. I mean, I think there's so many different, ways this could have gone down, where everyone could have just, thumbed their nose at this whole thing. And, but, we have so many just really cool, down to earth people that run bars and restaurants and breweries and distributors in this area, that, everyone kind of took a chance. And, here we are we're almost 10 years into this thing now.
So can you give me an idea of like what the venues are and some of your favorite past events?
Yeah, what the venues, you know, and it varies year to year. The coolest thing about Beer Week has been that the Lehigh Valley brewery scene has literally just grown, you know, at the you know, if it's just coincidence or whatever, but it's grown at the same time that every year there's a new brewery to join Lehigh Valley Beer Week, but then also just to join the Lehigh Valley. And then, you know, there's just those. So every year it's cool to see some new places, you know, kind of come into play. You know, and, you know, to be honest, some venues, you know, put more in than others, and you know, those are the venues that have established themselves as just being like the place to be. You know, where, you know, they've just been doing this for a long time, and you know, some people think like they can just put a beer on tap and call it an event, and then, you know, wonder why, you know, not that many people showed up. And then you have people. I mean, every year, you know, when we do interviews and things like that, you know, it's so awesome to just talk about what the events are. Like we've done, I mean, name anything that could happen and somehow find a way to tie that to beer. And it's been an event for beer. You know, there's been haunted houses, and there's been, you know, huge, you know, the Hotel Bethlehem throws this like humongous beer fest. You know, there was one time at Liberty Street where they had like a WWF like costume contest, and I mean, like, and the news was there, and people were like into it. I mean, like, it's anything under the sun. I mean, obviously you have all the classic stuff of, you know, doing beer dinners, and then you have places, you know, that, you know, the breweries, you know, put out their really rare stuff, you know, the stuff they've been aging in barrels, or the, you know, the you know, you have places like Spinnerstown, you know, who always has a, you know, Russian River Day, and you can't get Russian River anywhere around here. So, you know, they have a line out the door. You know, was it last year? I think I was there, but the year before it snowed, and they have like a line out the door, and it's snowing, and you know, I don't know if you're familiar with where Spinnerstown is. It's in the middle of nowhere. So, I mean, people are just coming out no matter what the weather's like, because, you know, the beer has spoken. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's amazing. Anna, tell me about some of the events that you've done at Spinnerstown, and you know, what kind of crowd comes in and when during, you know, the beer week.
Yeah, for sure. So definitely piggybacking off of what Jesse said, those Russian River days are one of the, like, people take off for those days. They're like, we're not going to work that day. We know it's going to be, normally it's like a Tuesday or Thursday. And we say the beer is going to be tapped and available at pick a time, 2 p.m. And people are here. When you could sit at a bar, people are at the bar waiting to get that beer. So it's a whole big thing. There was one February where it was beautiful weather like today, and our deck was full. So it's really, really awesome. We do a lot of beer dinners. One of my favorites last year, we did a beer brunch with Free Will and Iron Hill. And that was just a really, really fantastic dinner. We'll do side-by-side tastings where you can try a beer. My dad likes to hide beer away for years and years and years. So you can try a beer from 5 years ago and then one today, the same style or the same beer.
That's awesome.
So that's always really, really cool, where you can see
You guys
that
do the-
and taste the difference between what aged beers are and what non-aged beers are. And
You always do the
we'll
local as it gets event too, right?
yeah. We like to kind of we're impatient sometimes, so we like to do things a little early. So we'll do a as local as it gets the Friday before Beer Week, because Beer Week starts on a Saturday. So we get local breweries, and we'll get a half keg or a sixtel from them, and we'll tap that, and that'll kind of kick everything off for us.
But they're getting beers from breweries that, you know, typically don't distribute, like, where like the brewers are like, they don't distribute to other bars. They literally have like the brewer or the owner like driving a keg over in their car, just because of the relationship that, you know, they've had with Spinnerstown for so long, where they're like, you can't get that beer, even though it's local, you can't get that beer anywhere except for in that physical brewery. So just seeing that, like, you know, connection and, like, you know, brotherhood, you know, it's just, that's what's so cool.
Yeah,
That's
it's
amazing.
a lot of fun, and my dad's been doing this for a while, and he makes a lot of really good, long-lasting connections. And that's always the fun thing about beer, is the people that you meet. So having different events that bring different people together has always been a lot of fun, and just great, really is.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think that's something that a lot of people that are outside the industry don't understand is that everybody's friendly. All the brewers, all the distributors, the rising tide raises all ships. Everybody is just so into helping out each other, and it's a really great brotherhood, as you say. Let's talk about this year's Lehigh Valley Beer Week. Obviously, with COVID, things are changing. What's the plan for this year? I know the dates of May 15th through the 22nd are out there. What's kind of the outline for this year?
Yeah, so we had to make a call. The only positive side that we've seen so far with this year with COVID is that everyone's become much better at Zoom. So we've actually gotten, in my opinion, like much more
Except
efficient.
us.
Yeah.
Except us.
Where we've been able to actually, as our board of directors, we all run businesses. So, it's super tough to get us together. You know what I mean? So, that was always the hardest thing was we'd have a meeting and then, people would have to cancel or would have to get postponed. So we've actually been able to meet a lot more. And then this year we added 3 new board members. So, we added Craig from McCall, and then Keith Plunkett, who's been all over the place, was with Funk, and now he's doing some stuff with McCall and, some independent stuff as well. And then Kurt, the owner of Hijinks, is now on the board as well. So we've kind of added some new faces to the board of directors. Everybody has, kind of a new set of skills and, brings some new stuff to the table. So, we're revitalized, we're energized. We have some new, ideas and that's been really exciting. And then, we had to, kind of make the call, maybe a few months ago to we wanted to pull off Lehigh Valley Beer Week, which would be like right now. But we just didn't think it was the right time. We wanted to do it because Lehigh Valley Beer Week's thing has always been, let's try to get people outside of their houses when it's a crappy time of year. It's February, it's snowing, like I said. And, that's been the goal. It's like, we could do this in the summer, but that's when every festival is and things like that. So we've always tried to keep it in the winter to kind of, make sure that's the thing. To kind of, the goal of Lehigh Valley Beer Week is to, to excite people about craft beer and get people to go to these venues when, it's 2 degrees out and you're like, I don't want to leave my house. So, so anyway, we had to make the call to, to postpone it. It just didn't seem right with just the way things are. And then, we found having, breweries represented on the board, the spring and summer is beer fest season. So, there's a beer fest, almost every weekend, from June to, October. So, the breweries, typically are busy doing all that stuff. So we had to find a week where that wasn't happening. So May seemed great. And then obviously just knowing that, when it's warm out, the outdoor events will be huge. And, I saw a lot of things, last spring and summer, working in restaurants that, people still come out, it's just, feeling that, that safety of being outside and things like that really kind of is a game changer right now. So now I'm at the point where like my mind is kind of like just blown where I'm thinking like, wow, we've never been able to do outdoor Lehigh Valley Beer Week events. Like this might be, we turned like, this is like, this is probably going to be like the worst Lehigh Valley Beer Week into being like, this could actually be the best one. Because, these venues that have been doing Beer Week for so many years, that guy said, that's always been the coolest thing about Beer Week is just seeing like the creativity that these venues put together. Cause you can't do the same event. If there's 40 different people doing beer dinners, no one's going to go to them. So every year, everyone has to, in friendly competition, try to have the coolest event to try to drive people their way. And now that, outdoors is an option, like I am very excited to see what that holds.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I see there's on the LehighValleyBeerWeek.com, there is an event for this weekend.
Yeah,
I got to hear a little bit more about that because I see a Ralpheus variant on there, and that immediately perks my interest because I'm a
Well-
big Ralphius fan,
Oh, she's drinking it right now.
and
Yeah,
she's going to
we
rub
know-
it in, and she's drinking it now. That's not
We
very
know
nice.
someone. We know
Oh
someone.
man.
We know someone who got a beer named after her. I'm not jealous. Or
So, all right,
Yeah,
Annie, get
yeah.
into it. Just let's break it down. What do we got?
So I have been doing an infusion at the restaurant just with bourbon, and it has apricots and cherries and vanilla and clove, and then some citrus with lemon and orange. And it's kind of like an introduction to bourbon. It's a little bit sweeter, a little more approachable, maybe for people that don't like bourbon, but we have guests that absolutely love bourbon and they still drink the crap out of it. So a bunch of the guys from Free Will, they come up all the time. We have a great relationship with them, and they like drinking the Anna's bourbon in old fashions. And so Brett was here one day and he was like, you know what would be great? Let's do a Ralphius variant of this. And I'm like, that sounds amazing. So we pretty much I saved up a couple batches, I call it boozy fruit, of the infused bourbon infused fruit. So Free Will was kind enough to save a barrel for us, and we put a whole bunch of this boozy fruit in the barrel. We put more apricots and cherries, some more orange and lemon zest, a little bit more cinnamon and clove, and let it sit for about a month and a half, 2 months. And this is what we have, and it's absolutely amazing. It's 15.7%.
wow,
Doesn't drink like that at all.
wow.
It's definitely on the danger side, but it is so very good. And I feel like you can all of the flavors are linear. Like you get them one at a time. And so we were trying to figure out a name, and kind of similar with the Anna's bourbon. I couldn't think of a name for this drink. And both my sisters have a menu item with their name on it, and so does my dad. And so everybody was like, why don't you just call it Anna's bourbon? Like, give yourself a menu item. And so then it just really took off. And I didn't want to take away from Ralphius, because Ralphius, like you said, it's so amazing. It's a great stout. So I didn't want to take away from that. But I also couldn't figure out what to call it. So they were just like, just call it Anna's Ralphius then. So that's kind of how it came about. And we wanted to celebrate Lehigh Valley Beer Week during the original weekends. And we thought that this would be a great time to release it, because it's still stout season. I mean, aside from today and yesterday, it's still pretty chilly. There's still snow on the ground, but it is definitely ready to be enjoyed by everyone. So we have it on draft and in bottles, and you can get it here at Spinnerstown.
Coming tomorrow to get some.
Yeah,
Perfect.
that's amazing. That's a big deal. Ralphius sells out everywhere. People go nuts for it. All the variants, and to have your own, and to have another hidden variant that nobody knows about that's coming out for for this release, that's incredible.
I still don't believe it sometimes, because we were
Right?
just like, yeah, let's just hang out at a brewery and put stuff in a barrel, and this will be great. And but no, it's really fantastic, and so far everyone's really liking it. So
That's
great.
amazing.
Is that on tap now or just this weekend?
It is on tap now, so we started today, and it will be all weekend.
And Taylor, I don't know if you saw or not, but they do have a little main dinner on the draft list.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
We do.
Oh man,
Taylor's a dinner fan.
It's up there. It's like top 5 always, for sure. Maybe probably top 3.
Uh-oh.
yeah.
So
So Craig, since you're new to the beer week, why don't you tell us how McCall's getting involved?
We actually had a meeting today, and we haven't finalized anything, so I'm not going to tease or spoil anything, to be honest. My area of expertise for being on this call is consuming the beer at Beer Week for the last many years. So, I mean, I could talk about some of my favorite events. I think Jesse and Anna have hit on a bunch of them, but there's some staples that people look forward to every year. There's the Stouter Day at Strange Brew, where they just load up with like 15 high ABV stouts that you don't see every day. They also do an Avery takeover, during the week, which Avery is one of my favorites. So, that's another 15. There's 20 beers on tap that are all double-digit ABV. But Liberty Street Tavern's a spot of mine. They usually get some CBS, some old KBS, and release some stuff. It's really, the best thing is it's a combination of supporting the local breweries, which we have 15 part of the Lehigh Valley Brewers Guild that are partaking, but it's supporting the local breweries, but also a place like Spinnerstown that can bring in some of these beers that are really hard to get that you don't see every day. So when me and my friends were sitting down looking at the schedule and picking where we were going on Monday, where we were going on Tuesday, where we were going Wednesday, it was always based around, what beers have we not had, along with supporting some of the local businesses that are doing something, really bizarre. I think the Brick a couple of years ago, it's a pizza place, they did a 3 or 4 course pairing with 3 different pizzas, 3 different beers, a dessert pizza, a dessert beer. It gets really wacky. It's all over the place. So it's a great combination of supporting local Lehigh Valley breweries and businesses, and then bringing in beer that you maybe never seen and never had before. So people really jump at that.
Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. What I say is during the week, our website on your phone is the calendar version. Literally, just like you just pull it up and you can like look at, well, what city do I want to go to, or what brewery do I want to follow, or just what event sticks out. So I think that's what Craig was saying. A lot of people just pull out their phone that week, and it's just like a Facebook stream of just like all these events, and it's just like, do we go to Bethlehem? Do we go to Easton? Like, where do we go? You know what I mean? And you try to follow like I said, you can either try to follow the brewery or just follow the beer, or just go like, what is that event? I got to check that out. And every year it's just there seems to not be too many events to hit them all. So that's why everyone keeps coming back for more, I think.
Yeah, you can't hit them all. We tried. We my group of friends, we tried to get as many as possible. It's really not possible because we actually lucked out. Caitlin McCall, so Chris's wife at McCall Collective, she was actually pregnant the 1 year, so she was driving us around. It was the perfect year because we got to go to. So that was probably the most events we hit in a year, because we had a designated driver the whole time, and it was perfect.
Nice.
So while we're on you, Craig, why don't we talk about this beer real quick that Mr. Steve and I are sipping on? We started talking about it, I think, at the very beginning of the stream. I don't know if that was actually live or not. But why don't you tell us about this? It's a collab pale ale. Give us some more info.
All right, so this is actually a collab between McCall Collective Brewing and Union and Finch, which is also a venue partaking in Beer Week. They do every year. I think it was probably 3 or 4 years ago. Stickman was kind of coming up, and we didn't get Stickman in Lehigh Valley at all. The first place I had it was actually at Union and Finch. They did a tap takeover for Beer Week, and I got to try all the Stickman beers, so it was pretty cool. But yeah, this is a pale ale. It's again, we're not too far away from Union Finch. Chris, myself, Matt, our head brewer, we all kind of grew up going there before it was Union and Finch. It was a place called O'Malley's. Yeah, and we would go there for wing night all the time, drink
pitchers.
Drink shit beer, just the horrible beer.
Pitchers of beer.
It was not a craft beer spot then, but that place is gone. These guys have cleaned it up. The new owners of the location's awesome. We love the food. It kind of reminds you of a small spot in Brooklyn somewhere. It literally feels like you're in the city when you go in there. The look, the feel, the vibe, and they have great craft beer. So we love them. We love their food. We made this pale ale specifically on tap there, and the brewery. It's the only places you can get it, and then they're selling cans there as well. So it's a 6.4 ABV. We got their full partnership. We did their logo on the can. We did everything. They love it. I think they might drink it all before they can sell it. But yeah, it was great to partner with another member of Lehigh Valley Beer Week. So it's kind of we didn't plan it for being this week when Beer Week was, but it turned out great that we could partner with another Allentown business or the Lehigh Valley business. With COVID and everything in this time of year, any kind of business, anything to draw someone into a restaurant and give them a reason, even if they're getting beer to go, food to go, is a great thing. And that's another focus of why Beer Week exists is that, like Jesse mentioned, during a slow time of the year, a cold time of the year, how do we drive business into some of these spots?
Yeah, that's awesome. The beer in particular, it's nice because it's definitely got some juice, some citrus. It's got a nice haze to it, but it's also got a good amount of hops in it. But there's also this nose to it, and I'm trying to figure out exactly what it is. I don't know if it's maybe the cashmere coming through like real hard, but I don't know. Mr. Steve, do you picking up anything unique on the nose?
I'm a little sniffly, so no.
Me too.
But it's just my sniffles. I don't think it's the beer, but I'm still getting a decent flavor from the beer.
Yeah,
and I've been talking about the pendulum of the bitter beers to the lagers to the. I'm starting to come back into that pale ale train, and I think this would be a good one to sip on for a little while.
Yeah. So Matt, our head brewer, who's really a traditionalist, bitter beers and ESB, we did a great partnership with. I'm just going to keep name dropping here like crazy with Bond Place over the holidays, which again, another Lehigh Valley brewery, member of Beer Week. We did a collaboration with them, did an ESB. It was called Especially Bitter, and that was really popular for people that really appreciate an ESB or transitioning or just the sick of all the haze, the haze craze that's always going on. But
nobody drinks ESBs anymore. Stop.
I do.
People loved this beer. I mean, and Bond Place is very much, Matt is just like Sam. They're traditionalists. They're not going on what's trendy. They just make great beer, and people seem to appreciate that.
And I kid. I think that's a very. I think the name hurts it over here because people don't understand what it is. It's not a overly bitter beer. It's a very smooth. It's a very balanced beer that you can drink for a night and not feel like your mouth has been attacked, which is great.
An English bitter and an American IPA are literally the exact opposite beers. It's crazy. Yeah, so the term bitter in America is, just you can't even use that term to describe anything anymore because we've just gone as crazy as we can in America with hops. So
we had the bitter wars of what was that, about 2012? Was that the bitter wars? See how absolute bitter, how high the IBU we can get in a beer, the palate wreckers, like sucks the moisture out of your mouth. Yeah. I'm not into it. I'm fine with leaving that. I like a little bit of bitterness. I don't mind an old fashioned West Coast, but those days I'm good. I'm good. I've had my share.
It's a no from me, dog.
I know it's a no from you.
I've been calling it for years. Talking to my wife, I'm not like a huge hoppy guy. I'm like like Craig said, like a traditional beer drinker. So I really like a beer to be the style it is, and I really love German beer. I really love Belgian beer. And I'm just not like a huge fan of overly hot beers, but that's been like the craze for years. And I'm talking to my wife for years. I'm like, it's going to come back. It's going to come back. They're going to start brewing real beers. Watch. And like, I'm slowly starting to see it happen. Cause that's like all I do on Facebook and is just follow breweries. And I'm like, they brewed a lager. Oh my God.
We've been talking about it for a little while. I feel like lagers and pilsners are back. Like they're really a lot of different people are embracing them, and I'm definitely happy about that.
It's the true styles of beer. You can't mask it with by throwing raspberries in it. I mean, if you brew a traditionally German pilsner, that beer has zero taste except for water, hops, malt, and yeast. That's all it tastes like, and it tastes incredible. But if you don't do it right, it tastes disgusting. So, if you add some fruit into it or whatever and be like, oh, it's a sour pilsner with raspberries. And they're like, no, that doesn't fly.
So we talked about some of the local stuff, but can you tell us anything that you've got coming in from outside the area that you're excited about?
Spinnerstown always has the goods.
I know we're still trying to kind of figure it out because we're not quite sure what we're going to be allowed to get at this point. We do have Pliny the Elder on draft right now because we were going to have it for Lehigh Valley Beer Week, and it was one of the last shipments of Russian River into the area. So we have to kind of see what happens and see how these mitigations on Pennsylvania if they'll ease up, which I'm kind of hoping that maybe after St. Patrick's Day they will. So we'll see. But yeah, right now that's all John Dale. He's the master of procuring the oddities and the hard to finds. And also, I have no idea what he has in the basement. Like it's a maze of things.
It is crazy down there.
Yeah, it
really is insane. that's been the cool thing. Like I said, over the last couple of years, is that because the Lehigh Valley brewing scene has just exploded, and I mean, all of the I don't know how many you guys aren't. I don't know how far you guys are from the Lehigh Valley, but I mean, the Lehigh Valley breweries are getting GABF medals. I mean, like we are like
Yeah.
it's not just that there's a lot of breweries, like they're all like really, really solid. So, during beer week, if you're going to put on a brewery that's not from the Lehigh Valley, like you got to bust out the big guns. So no one's like, it's either like extremely local beer or just like, like Craig was saying, like, you got Avery, you got, Russian River, you have these breweries that's like, oh man, this is what heaven tastes like. So like that mixed with all the local stuff, it's just incredible.
Who are some of the OG Lehigh Valley brewers and breweries that'll be involved?
So, when we started this thing, I think the only breweries that were around, and Anna, you'll have to correct me, were I think Weyerbacher's the oldest Lehigh Valley brewery, and then Fegley's Brewworks, was short to follow that, and then Two Rivers and Funk. I think Funk's. I don't know if they were the first beer week or the second beer week, but they're like opening like weekend was a beer week. So they always celebrate their anniversary, during beer week. And that's always been really cool. So yeah, Funk, Two Rivers.
Hijinks is up there too.
Hijinks, yeah. Those are just those events, when we were, like I said, like I used to, my brother and his friends and stuff like that would come up from Philly and I'd be like, oh, there's events for this beer week thing I started. And then we'd go to an event and like the bartenders would be like, there's an event. Like it was like in the beginning, like even if you were working there, like I knew there was an event and they didn't know there was, like they're like, yeah, we have that beer on tap. Is that like special? I'm like, so like it's changed so much because just the demographics of just how many breweries we have to pick from, and then just the world kind of just caught on, simultaneously to as we've been doing this. So every year it's just kind of just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger.
You guys being up in the area of Shangy's, I don't think people, we're down in Chester County. I don't think people here really understand the impact of Shangy's on that area. And to me, it's almost one of those chicken or the egg things. Did Shangy's create the Lehigh Valley beer drinker, or did the Lehigh Valley beer drinker make something like Shangy's come out? Tell us how Shangy's kind of helps that area just in general.
Yeah, I mean, talk about OG. I remember driving to Shangy's with my dad, when I was like, 12 or something like that, and it was in a different building. It was just in this little shack that was just like stacks of beer, and just being with my dad, and even my dad being like, well, this is like so much stuff. But then, yeah, I mean, Shangy's, if Shangy's wouldn't have been a part of this thing, from day one, if they would have been like, this is dumb, then I think the conversation would have stopped there. I mean, I think that, because, they believe in local, and, Nima, their owner, and Pat, their main rep, we've been working with, from day one, believed in this thing. And, you forget how, I guess in this area, like you get so spoiled, especially I live like so close to Shangy's. So, and I don't know if you've been there recently, they totally revamped the entire building. It's nuts.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's insane. They have 40 beers on tap and slushies, and just there's like room. And I'm like, oh, there's another room. Oh, there's bottles back here. Oh, there's 6-packs. Like they have like, I mean, wall to wall coolers, and I don't. You get spoiled. Like I don't know, where other people get their beer. But if you go to that distributor and then you go to any other distributor, you're like, So
I just discovered all those back rooms.
Yeah, and then as far as importing beer. When they get beer from Germany or from Belgium, or even if if they're getting stuff from other states, I mean, like they're the only people that get it. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not like if you go to a distributor, whatever distributor it is, and you pick up a case of this Belgian beer, that's probably been in so many different trucks by the time it got to wherever you're at, that it's like how, I mean, and obviously everyone now knows how important fresh beer is. And just, being, everyone gets, kind of spoiled just being like, oh, everyone has a local brewery close to them, and you just get that like that taste, like you're saying, you're tasting that beer right now, and you're picking up on all the different the different tastes, the other senses, in the mouthfeel, and you're getting the citrus, and you're getting this like, if that beer were to sit on a shelf for 6 months, you wouldn't get half of those characteristics. So yeah, you really get spoiled with how awesome the scene is here. And we're, it's the Lehigh Valley. It's, I worked for Iron Hill for the last year and a half, and no one even knows. I'm like, I live in Allentown. They're like, where's that? I'm like, it's the third biggest city in Pennsylvania. You heard it?
It's funny hearing you talk about the Belgian beers. I think I was probably a little bit more of a Belgian guy than John was. I remember trying to find the West Flederland when it came over for that little limited release, and that a place like Shangy's, that's like, all right, that's the kind of place we got to hit. I never got lucky on that one, but I'll let that go. But I got I got some. I got some.
one. I got one.
I got a couple left. I'm good.
When Pennsylvania state laws changed, and for the 6-packs and smaller, so when you didn't have to buy a case, and now you can buy bottles, and you can do the small crowlers and the large crowlers. That was like game changing at Shangy's. Like that's when all those back rooms opened up, when you could just build your own 6-packs, and they could sell 6-packs versus just cases, and then putting all those tap lines in. Huge supporters. Shangy's impact on the Lehigh Valley beer scene is insane.
You don't think about how the laws can help things evolve and help things change, and it's helping different businesses like Shangy to stay open. I think that's great.
Well, we talked about the brotherhood, / sisterhood of the brewing industry. Pennsylvania breweries, not just Lehigh Valley breweries, but Pennsylvania breweries there's been such a huge collaboration between the Pennsylvania Brewers Association and they're able, because they have such a huge network of breweries, they're able to to lobby for laws that make sense. And like Craig said, when the breweries were able to, you used to have, if you went to a brewery, and this is when Lehigh Valley Brewery started, at that time, if you went to a brewery, you could taste beer or you could buy a case of beer. That's it. That was the law. So you couldn't, now, like, you can't go to, but you had to, if they sold food, then that like was a different thing. And that was like a different, but kind of getting every year, kind of like knocking down these old laws, and making it more, accessible for the public to walk into a brewery and that to be, an event, not just like, used to think of going to a brewery as like going to like a factory. Like you'd like go in, you buy your box and you get out. Now you can go to a brewery and hang out, and, breweries have kind of, been able to kind of live that life where they're able to kind of have their own beer gardens, and, then they're adding food trucks and things like that. So, it's just, it feels so great to see that, in these small towns. I grew up in Hellertown, which is like the smallest town in the world. And, Lost Tavern, coming in there, in the middle of the town. I mean, I could have never imagined that there would be a brewery in that town, and there's food trucks and there's live music. And I'm like, Hellertown's cool. How did that happen? It's awesome. And the breweries did that, those guys did that. And it's incredible.
John, are you ready to open up the second one? Are you still?
I'm on it.
You're on it already? Which ones did you do?
What is that?
Dude, if looking at this can, and I think those are those weird candies that are like hard, but then as soon as you put them in your mouth, they dissolve. You know what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about?
They're not candies, they're like mints. They're almost like
mints
free
at a
when you leave
diner?
a restaurant.
Yeah,
diners.
You get a spoonful of the like communal mints.
If I would have looked at this can before I opened it, I would have had nothing to do with it, just because of that picture. But it is very, very good. Mr. Steve, you haven't cracked it yet, have you?
No, I don't even know which one that is.
This is the sour.
Oh, that wasn't on my list.
I thought it was.
No.
I thought you said we were doing the sour.
What is it?
So this one, shout out Craig. Thank you for hooking this up. This is Lost Tavern Double the Jams Ambrosia Sour Ale with pineapple, orange, coconut, marshmallow, and vanilla.
I crushed that segue,
Nice.
I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's intense. It's very intense.
They make good stuff. Yeah, they have 2 locations now.
They really
They're
do.
obviously High Valley Beer Week participants. I'm going to keep dropping them. You know, but a big part of our focus is not just marketing for that week. When you're a member of Lehigh Valley Beer Week, we're supporting these venues and breweries for everything they're doing all year round. So we want to make sure that we're continuing to shout them out. But yeah, Lost Tavern's great. They opened up a second location in Bethlehem where they have food as well. So great little location there. This beer was just released on Tuesday, and then Wednesday in Hellertown. So I grabbed those. But yeah, they're great. You can't go wrong with Lost Tavern's releases. They're good. Sometimes they're a little heavy on the lactose, which some people don't like. But I mean, I don't go all in on lactose beers, but their stuff's just good. The Double the Jam series is really, really good. Sometimes they run it through a Randall of like Mike and Ike's or Sour Mike and Ike's and things like that. At the location, it's really, really unique. It's really good.
That's
looking
awesome.
for
I
an
don't think those guys
EPP.
sleep because I feel like they release a new beer. It seems like every day.
Yeah.
But it's like
And
every
that's-
other week or something like that. It's crazy.
And once the breweries get a
They're
second
thoughtful.
location, there's more taps available, so then they can just brew more beer. So I looked at their tap list literally I think yesterday, and I'm like, damn, like I got to get out of the house. I mean, they're cool about brewing traditional beers too. You talked about the English bitter. I think it was called Edgewix. Is one of their flagship beers. They brew an English style bitter as a flagship beer, and that doesn't happen these days. So it's always nice when the breweries take a chance that that's not going to be a popular beer. I think the thing in the brewery industry is don't brew a brown beer. No one drinks them. You've got to brew a hazy beer or like it's got to be 11% or something like that.
It's fun. It's fun. I'm glad that there's places like McCall out there, and I'm sure a lot more. But just there's such a broad range of styles on the menu. Like I just went for dinner the other night. I guess it was last night. The beers were fantastic. I mean, I liked everything that I had. I usually don't like wheat beers, but the collaborations beer, is that what it's called, Greg?
The contributions. The wheat beer. Yeah, that's the beer that we launched. That's what we talked about last time we were on the podcast.
Yeah.
So before we opened up. Yeah.
Yeah, I was excited to try that one because that was, the first one that you guys opened with, and wheat beers are usually not my thing, and but there was something about it. Maybe it was like a little bit of a dry finish that I got that wheat beer. Maybe it's the yeast that I was like, man, I'm not crazy about it, and then I just couldn't stop drinking it. And then Roast Malone, I thought was fantastic. Like,
yeah. Great. That was great cover art. That was great. I got some of that stuff too. That was great.
Yeah.
We tried to get a cease and desist. We tried really hard. We tagged him on every Instagram post. We tried. We thought we'd be the greatest. Listen, this could go one or two ways. People don't love the beer and no one's gonna notice the label, or his people find out and we get a cease and desist and it makes the news, and then people really want the beer. Yeah. That didn't happen, but people still do enjoy the beer.
Yeah, but I mean, a roasty red ale, it's just something that you don't see on a tap board very often anymore, and it was just really unique and it was really well done. And, it's one of those things that I feel like when you're sitting and getting a flight somewhere and you're trying these different styles, you can start to tell when things are really well executed, and I feel like that's what's going on there. They're very, very good at what they do. They're brewing great beer, and there's nothing that's off. There's nothing that's that tastes bad or different. I mean, it's just they were all fantastic styles. So you guys are definitely killing it there.
Thanks. Yeah, Matt's good. Matt's again, it's real traditionalist. His background, he's been local. He worked at the Bethlehem, the state home brewer store. That's how he met Sam at Bond Place back in the day, and he went through Sam Adams, head brewer at Coney Island Brewing, which is part of Boston Beer as well. So yeah, he's definitely worked his way up from home brewing. He's had the right relationships in the Lehigh Valley. It's how some of our partnerships and our collabs have come through. So yeah, I mean, it's been our approach the whole time, and that's really my approach with joining the board here with Lehigh Valley Beer Week too. Is just let's bring everybody up. Everybody can win. No one comes in to shut down the rest of the Lehigh Valley breweries. No one's coming in to steal customers. It really is like a brotherhood in the Lehigh Valley, and we have new breweries like Seven Sirens just opened a year ago. They're now part of Beer Week. Brew Daddies in Allentown, who just opened up just about a year ago as well. partaking in Beer Week. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so it's great. They're coming in. They're joining. They're part of the Brewers Guild. They're doing creative things aside of Beer Week as well. So yeah, it's just a great scene. And again, things like Beer Week, things like Shangy's, things like these other breweries, hijinks that have been around for all these years, all coming up in the Lehigh Valley have all contributed to the boom. And then places like Spinnerstown is not even in the core of Lehigh Valley. Like all the other Quaker towns supporting Lehigh Valley Beer Week. I see someone in the comments talking about Sabatini's. Oh, Sabatini's is my spot up in Scranton. I love Sabatini's. Their pizza is amazing. They got some really good beer up there as well. They're really far away, but if we can get them to be part of Beer Week, that'd be great. They are a hike.
Who's got the better selection? Sabatini's.
Shangy's.
Shangy's are Shangy's a member of the Lehigh Valley Beer Week, so I'm gonna go. And they have slushies, so if you're into that.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's funny. Mr. Steve, what did you end up cracking?
I cracked open the Fagleys, the weird kids on the block, hazy and juicy, pineapples and mango. I actually haven't had a sip yet because I poured it really poorly, and I'm embarrassed to bring it on the screen.
That's how you can just get a lot of the aromas that way.
Drinking it two-handed.
There's my buddy Tim. He's I worked with him a while back, but he's in Allentown. He's a Lehigh Valley guy, but I think he's also like a whiskey guy. So we got to get him into the beer scene.
I want to give a quick shout out. I've been sipping on some Levante tonight. This Mango Mountain. This is one of the best sours I've ever had. Seriously, I just recently got my first Mercury shipment in, and I'm just thrilled I was thrilled to get beer in the mail. So that was pretty cool. And it helps that it's tremendous. It's amazing. The stuff's really, really good.
It tastes better when it's mailed, actually.
I agree.
That's another great thing. That's you try to find the positives in the situation that's going on right now. I mean, obviously, a lot of breweries, bars, restaurants are hurting right now during this time. And a cool thing that's come about has been it's gotten easier to get beer. So God bless. So it's a lot of the. And I've been loving it. A lot of the breweries now. You get 4 buttons on your phone, swing by. You can do curbside or whatever. And a lot of the breweries, working in the restaurant, I typically have days off that other people don't. So I'd be like, all right, it's a Monday. Let's go check out a brewery, and I'm like, everybody's closed.
Yep.
McCall's open.
There you go. So now it's but exactly. You see me, and but now I've been seeing some of these breweries who I know used to be closed. They're available now for to-go beers and things like that, and it's so easy. I mean, literally, like a lot of the breweries are using the same this system called Toast, the same POS system. So it literally like saves your information. You can save your credit card information there, and it's I know Bond Place has it. I know I think Funk has it. McCall has it, and literally just it saves your information. You're like you can order some food, some to-go beer, and then you can order you can get draft beer through a crowler or a growler. You can get cans. So and I've been seeing just like everyone's beer lists have opened up. Everyone's doing like a lot more canning and stuff like that. So for someone who you don't if you're you don't want to leave your house or whatever, there's still like a ton of craft beer options available. And I think when we get into the warmer weather and people want to get outside more, I think it's going to be next level.
Yeah, I think that was one of my favorite things is when everybody was needing to do that pivot and get that online ordering platform. And like 4 or 5 of my favorite places all got the same POS. So just like you were saying, like I've got an account, my card on there, and you said, 3 or 4 clicks, and you've got beer, getting delivered or easily picked up or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's this time has forced everyone to kind of stay on their toes and be creative and find a way. And like I said, that's always been the coolest thing about Lehigh Valley Beer Week and the brewing industry in general is that everyone's just got so much creativity. Boring people don't brew beer. I mean, creative people want to express themselves. These brewers are mad scientists that are making these beers, and so in this industry, everyone's creative, and during this time, just seeing people find a way to survive this craziness, and then like I just think of everyone's creativity that they've already shown over the past several months, kind of take that into hopefully a safer time in May when we can do Beer Week, and I think that creativity is going to just blow up. I'm pumped.
Woo! Anna, how have you how has things changed and adapted, and how are things going at Spinnerstown with the craziness that's been the last whatever it's been 18 months now?
I mean, crazy and insane are probably the two best words you can use for that. That pivot, I remember that initial shutdown, and I had my servers were texting me, and they were like, hey, so I see on the news we're not going to be able to open tomorrow. And I'm like, I don't have any idea what you're talking about. That's nonsense. And then, of course, I start looking things up, and then, it's like 10:30 at night, and you're trying to figure out what you have to do or what you're allowed to do. So, that initial 2 weeks into shutdown, and then when you figure out, okay, this is going to be a while, we're going to be closed for a bit. What can we do? What can set us apart? What is the next new thing? What is something that we can easily attain? And our head chef, Nate, loves smoking and barbecuing things. He loves it. So being out by that pit is the best thing he can do. And we had just recently bought a huge smoker. Because we had a couple little baby ones, and that would get us by, and you could do fun things. So what we ended up coming up with was a drive-through barbecue. And that is a complete 180 pretty much from what Spinnerstown is known for. But now all of a sudden Spinnerstown is the new barbecue spot.
Brilliant.
I never would have thought that was something that we could do. But I mean, we had our team, our kitchen staff is just fantastic. And this drive-through barbecue really allowed us actually to bring our employees back. It allowed us to bring the kitchen staff back almost full time, because we needed so much help to get this done. We announced that we were doing this, and we had a really good, a good line through the parking lot. And then more and more people started talking about it. And somebody who let us borrow the same smoker that we have now, we asked if we could borrow his smoker. So we had two of these same smokers going just to keep up with demand. And then JJ at Lynx, and we sold out. And JJ at Lynx let us borrow his smoker as well. So we had 3 smokers at one point just to keep up with demand for this. And WFMZ did a spotlight on us, and they waited in line, and they went and interviewed people. It was just crazy. And so that idea and that ingenuity really, really, I think, kind of set us apart from other people. That kept our name relevant, which was huge, especially when you're hearing all these names that you love going to different restaurants or different places, and they can't open for any of number of reasons. And so this was that was one of those things that really, really helped and saved us. And that was cool. And we were selling beer to go. We were selling wine to go. We were doing mixed drinks, because something they allow you to do now is cocktails to go. So we were doing drink kits to go. So that was really cool. That was something that really, I think, put us on the map for that ingenuity and new things, and kept Spinnerstown in the forefront.
That's amazing. Good for you. That's such a cool story to hear. That you guys found something new that worked for you guys, and to have all that excitement and hype behind it. That's amazing.
We actually have a new member of Beer Week.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
I never would have thought that the state police would be like, you're causing a traffic problem. Can you fix that? So, in a good way. And then half the time, there's some troopers that live in the area, and they're in the barbecue line too. So it was.
And getting cocktails to go.
Obviously. No, mostly the brisket. Actually, all the brisket. So.
All right, but before we wrap things up, I just want to give you guys one last opportunity. Any events coming up any participants that you want to give a shout out to or plug, please, let everybody know some of the more exciting things or things that you guys are excited for and that we can look forward to.
Yeah, so we'll be planning an all venue meeting, which we typically do as we kind of get closer to the beer week. And now as you can probably see through our social media and stuff like that, everyone signs up every year. Now's the time where everyone's kind of re-signing up. And then as people sign up, and then the coolest thing is we do that when we do the meetings, obviously they're usually in person. But then you'd see, like, we do the meetings, we kind of talk about what we're going to do for the year and stuff like that. And then you'd kind of see the meeting, like that part of the meeting takes 20 minutes. But then the rest of the meeting is just like, you see like this bar owner and like this brewery kind of like off on the side and you're like, they're working on something. So I think now's the time where everyone's kind of starting to kind of work on everything. You just keep your eyes peeled to the social media and the website because, the events will start popping up. And then it's go time.
Yeah, we're announcing venues almost. I'm trying to do a venue a day, trying to highlight. So I'm going to shout out some of the breweries we did mention. We mentioned Bond, Bosergeist is a part, Brew Daddies, Fagley's, Funk, Hijinks, Hot Pill. We didn't mention Taylor House. We also didn't mention. We mentioned Two Rivers, Weyerbacher, Yergi. We have some other new members. It's actually a pizza. It's a guy, Brian. He makes pizza out of his house, out of an oven. And he started selling it during the pandemic. He's only on Instagram. It's local_stone. You order, he posts what he's got, what days. You make your order via DMs on Instagram. Then you pick him up at his place. He's got all the certifications and stuff. It's great pizza. He's doing Sicilian. He's doing deep dish Chicago style. He actually did a pop-up event at Bond Place as well. So, you can get your beer and your Bond Place beer. So he's taking part in Beer Week. So it should be really fun to see where he pops up and where his pizza is going to be. But tons of new members, like I said, announcing one a day and really kind of highlighting them and making sure that people know where the events are going to be at once we announce them.
That's awesome. With last thing we're going to do here is a little tradition that we have that I usually forget to prepare for, but it's called Toast of the Week. So we usually do a little toast to something. I'm probably gonna start. We're gonna go through the normal people here. If you guys have anything, you can add on too. So for me, down in Texas, I've been dealing with a customer, and last week everything went to shit. And it was really crazy to see like a power outages, the snow, just how unprepared they were. But us being in the working with the industries and whatnot, it was really cool to see a few breweries step up, and they were just bottling and doing whatever they could, canning, offering filtered or just incredible, probably filtered water out to people who really had no supply. One of our previous guests, Marcus over at Weathered Souls, forget the other one, Roadmap Brewing, I think, down in San Antonio also. But that was really cool to see how they were just stepping up and doing whatever they could. They were saying, hey, like, the doors are open, even though it's early. We're not serving beer, but come in. And they're putting out 2,000-3,000 gallons of water a day. So shout out to them, toast to them. Great work, great job. Taylor, you got something?
Yeah, sure. I will. My toast of the week, Daft Punk. They announced their retirement this week, and countless musicians, countless artists have been influenced by these guys. They're so meticulous. They're so brilliant. And I keep seeing people saying they broke up. I don't know what happened, but I think that they're retiring. They're old as hell. They've been doing this for so long, and they've made their footprint big enough for a billion Daft Punk. So Daft Punk, here's you guys. I know they're listening.
Huge fans of the show.
They're French. They don't like beer.
The Mandalorian memes that I've been seeing about Daft Punk have been killing me. They're so good.
So when it was like they retired, and it's like two like hand dryers in the bathroom, I was like,
They've been good. Mr. Steve, what do you got?
I'm toasting WandaVision. I think it's better than The Mandalorian at this point. It's
Holy
so
shit.
good. It's bringing
Shots
stuff
fired.
back from all these movies. It's setting up stuff. It's so thought. Just the end credit scene that they did in the 2000s show, because they never did them until the 2000s. Taylor, you love it.
Spoilers.
Vision, so good. Toast.
Hey, man, that's a good one. That's a real
Wow.
good one.
Shots fired.
We'll get into it later, but I'm taking my first real deep dive into the MCU, and I'd love to talk to you guys about it. But any of you guys have a toast or anything that you want to shout out quick before we go?
I don't know what the
Oh,
rules are.
man. Give me the music.
No, put me on
Anything.
Give me the music.
I'll give a toast to Carson Wentz.
Hey, that's a good one.
Nothing but class. So wish him luck.
Let's go on.
Good luck.
Yeah.
I hope you go. I hope things work out. I
Hope he
really
wins the Super Bowl there, and we fire Howie Roseman the next day.
yes.
He's the one that should have gone. We've been saying it for weeks.
They're going to win the AFC South. Watch.
You should.
Anybody else got anything?
I'm so put on the spot. I don't know.
It's okay.
Let's wrap up the podcast. Let's do it. See if we get the music.
Is it working?
It's working.
Oh my God, I fixed it.
Now I'm like waiting for the intro. I'm so messed up.
Let's just,
I'm waiting for the post to go. But guys, listen, Jesse, Anna, Craig, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. It's been a blast. If any of you took the time to hang out, to listen, to watch, we really appreciate you. Real quick, a couple upcoming shows we've got. We're going to be doing the Locust Lane collab with FAM. That'll be our next episode. We're going to talk to the guys at Beer Maker. Check out beermaker.com, BEERMKR. And we're also going to be talking to Wrong Crowd Brewing out of Westchester. So lots of very exciting stuff coming up. But
also, make sure you check out Yesterday in 5 Minutes on YouTube. Series premiere on Monday. Follow MBN Network on YouTube. Do it now, people.
And then also the website, it's scrolling at the bottom there, LehighValleyBeerWeek.com, May 15th to 22nd.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep.
So awesome.
Mhm.
Keep an eye, follow them on social media, look for all the events. It's going to be a ton of fun, a lot of stuff. I'm sure we're going to make a trip up there and try to at least get something in. But thank you guys so much for hanging out and letting us talk at you. And we will see you next time.
We appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Podcast over.
We are still live, though.
Yeah, we are live.
We are still live.
Oh,
We have to tell people that now, don't we?
We are still live. We may have had somebody commit a faux pas last week, thinking that we were not still live.
We
Oh,
were
no.
we stopped recording. I did the outro like that, and we were just sitting here talking. And even though we're still live, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook right now. We're out there in the universe, and yeah, stuff went down, and it was different. So
Edits had to be made.
Now I remember what you're talking about. Yeah, that was fun. That was funny.
getting an email like in the middle of the night, like please
Please edit this.
Oh no.
did anyone lose a job?
Not yet.
We haven't heard.
Did anyone get divorced?
Not that I know of.
Somebody mentioned it in the comments.
There was a job at stake.
Yes.
Oh no.
Oop.
That's funny stuff.
So as we were talking there, I was looking at the Spinnerstown tap list.
Mm-hmm.
Shit's legit.
Oh, it's going on right now. It's crazy. Like my bartender was like, "We're gonna be here for a while after work, aren't we?"
And my favorite part of it, honestly, is you have 18 beers on tap,
Mm-hmm.
and 3 IPAs.
Yeah.
And there's a Flanders Red on there. There's porters on there. There's Belgian Strongs. There's stouts. The variety. There's ambers. There's pilsners. There's saisons. There's Belgians. The variety is what I like to see. I hate seeing a tap list with 12 IPAs and 2 pale ales and
Right.
1 stout. Like, I love that variety.
Yeah. No, my dad he's one of those tried and true, very traditionalist. but he knows what what a lot of people like, so he's down to, give 3 or 4 taps to the IPAs, but otherwise he's Yingling Lager and Duvel Single are the 2 beers that never change. And so everything else kind of fluctuates and changes, but those 2 are ones that are always on there. So we put everything on there and everything out there. So
how about so you guys do a crazy Black Friday event too.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Your Black Friday beer, it's crazy.
Yeah. Black Friday was crazy. And this year we actually put a couple white stouts on too, because a lot of people don't really know about them even now. So
yeah,
we actually
they
have
freak
one
me
on
out.
right now. It's weird. It's a weird like
the albino stout.
Yeah.
Fish, I love that Bill Murray clapping gift, dude. I love it. I love it. I'm gonna get out of here and edit this mess of a podcast, but before I do, fun fact. So the reason that you guys couldn't hear the music in the beginning is because the streaming service that we're using decided to change my audio before we hit record. So I don't know why that did it, but I fixed it, and now I can play Cool Sounders. And
there it is. That's what we were missing the entire time.
We were missing the whole time.
Okay, terrific.
I don't know why it did that, but it did it. Checklists. I went to school to record podcasts, not to deal with this crazy weird thing that we're doing now. Everything's changed.
I never once questioned your professionalism.
I really appreciate that, man. And then John texted me. He's like, dude, mute yourself. You just coughed loud as shit. I was like, what? I've been muted the whole time. I looked over at my slider. I was like, dude, I've been muted this whole time. See,
it was
is it working now?
Yeah, that works.
It was a total co-host Kev cough directly into the mic.
Like, what is he doing? I was like, he has to have no idea that it's going across the mic.
Dude, I texted you back. I was like, bro. I made sure of it. I was like, ooh, this is gonna be a big one. And I was like, oh. So I apologize to everybody. It won't be on the podcast because this part worked. This part didn't. So Mike, Fish, I am mansplaining. I apologize for crying out loud. I'm just going to sign off, man. I'm out of here. Can't do anything right tonight. God. It was very nice Craig, it was great to see you again. And it was nice to meet you in
you as well.
In 2021. Fish.
Thank you.
Bye, Fish. And bye, everybody else. Steve, John, I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right.
Let's do this in the studio time. I'm sick.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we'll see. Mr. Steve, what do you have? Are you doing this one right now?
No, I'm doing the Fegley still.
Why do I not have that?
What do you get? You get the peach vanilla? Is that what you drink? Is that what you're about to
Weird Kids on the Block, pineapples and mango, hazy and juicy.
Ooh, I love that name.
You're drinking this one.
Very citrusy.
I drank the peach and vanilla one. Yeah.
Okay,
it's really good.
Man,
Lost in Suspension's another series of theirs. They have a bunch of different series. They're all just solid.
Is this what I'm drinking next? Lost in Suspension.
Yeah, we could do that, or we can do the other one.
Well, you just go. I feel like I'm behind.
All right, I got one more in me.
I don't have my own Ralpheus over here.
Yeah,
but
the Mr. Steve Ralpheus doesn't exist.
Yes,
it doesn't.
You'll just have to swing up to Spinnerstown. It's fine.
I'll make my own Ralpheus with hot dogs and mac and cheese.
As disgusting as that sound, I would drink it.
Probably. I got to say though, we had a lot of the Ralpheuses, and they were fantastic, except for one.
Oh no! I know they did 17 variations this year.
Yeah, there was one that really got to me. I don't know if it did to everybody else, but
it was not my favorite. I will say that.
Yeah, but I kept drinking. I was like, "What?"
Sarsaparilla.
Yeah, sarsaparilla.
Oh, okay. I
was like, "Is this Dr. Pepper? What is it?"
I got Jägermeister. That was what I got. But now the s'mores was a delight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so good, and just the regular. I love the regular base, no variant.
Yeah. The regular is so solid.
Yeah.
And I love the can size this year, that I can have one of those by myself and not feel like I'm destroying myself.
Right? Yeah, I thought that was great for them to go to that smaller can size, especially for something so potent. I think that's awesome. So, well, fellas, I'm gonna have to pop off because my computer's gonna die. and I have no idea where the charger is. So,
Also,
but
thank you for hanging out. It's
yes.
been a blast. I'm so excited to hear about your place because I mean, it's just. I wish we talked about Wilbur more. He got off as soon as we said goodbye.
Yeah,
I don't think he knew we were.
really-
I don't think he knew we were going to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right. But we'll have to. We'll have to
I'm
ask
excited
more
to
about
see what they have coming up because they're pretty much like ground up, brand new. They're still doing stuff. So
that. Your website
yeah,
looks
no,
amazing.
I love sharing about the restaurant. It's one of those places where we've been around for what I feel like forever, but people in our area are like, I just drive by it every day and I've never been in. So I'm like, well, come on in, figure it out.
You know, we didn't mention the food. We didn't mention the food once this whole conversation. The
Oh
food
my gosh,
at
the
Spinnerstown,
food. Yeah.
it's great. The food is amazing.
Well, we did touch on the barbecue, but right now, like,
Well,
I mean,
traditional food. I guess.
our kitchen staff is just fantastic right now. That's my toast. I will toast to our kitchen staff
There you go.
because they are fantastic. They come up with such cool, creative things that you never would think you'd get in such like it's like a traditional Pennsylvania Dutch area. But they're really like, we did like a scattered sushi dish that was just fantastic. Like, you know, just things that they come up with. I'm like, I don't know if that'll make sense or taste good, but it's amazing. So
That's
just,
awesome.
yeah, you just have to come out and try what they do because they, along with, you know, people dealing with, you know, not having jobs in COVID, we didn't lose a single kitchen staff member, which is
Oh, that's great.
fantastic.
That's
They've really hung in with us for sure.
Well, keep up the good work. We're definitely going to make a trip. We're just talking about it in the chat. We're going to try to get
Awesome.
some people together and come up and say hi. So, but
Definitely.
yeah, thank you so much. We appreciate you.
All right. Thank you guys. We'll take
Yep.
care.
See ya.
All right, guys. You guys have a good night. Thanks
All
for having us.
Later, Craig.
Thank you so much.
Later.
See ya.
And then there was two.
I used to teach the Quakertown marching band and
Really?
Indoor percussion stuff, and I never got to go out there because it's like an hour and a half almost from here.
Yeah.
But there, that's a legit tap list. I really
I can't get their tap list to load. I tried twice.
you got to go into
The
beer menus.
your menus. Okay.
Like go to their website and then type in Spinnersville, and then it comes up. And then you got to click and click.
It's pretty crazy. Let me see if I can get there. So is this all? Yeah, this is all like there we go, on tap.
And everything's on in growlers too. So you can get a growler of Pliny the Elder.
Nugget Nectar, Lazy River, GABF winner,
Mhm.
from New Trail, Dragon's Milk, White, Dinner, Pliny the Elder, Abraxas, Ralpheus. So a couple things I'm glazing over them because I don't recognize them. New Trail Goggles, Lost Abbey, Cuvée.
I've heard of that Lost Abbey Flanders before, and I've heard good things. I've never had it.
I love Flanders. I really do. They're like, because you get those those like red wine. Is it tannins? I don't know what what you call it, but I love them.
They're not my favorite, but I can see how people like them.
All right, you didn't get to this yet, did you? I'm gonna have
No.
it done before you do.
No, I'm all over the place over here.
Since you're the only person to talk to, but you'll get it. I'm gonna tell you my little MCU story here real quick. All right, so I've seen like Iron Man 1, and I'm not really all that excited about the MCU. Like nothing really got me excited. I never went out of my way to watch them, and I was never into those guys that much. But I was really into X-Men, and the X-Men movies like really weren't great either. So, or at least to me. So I was like, I love X-Men, and the X-Men movies aren't good. I'm not even going to waste time trying to figure out this Avengers movie, right? So I spent like no time in Avengers at all. I think when like Thanos became a meme, I watched Infinity War, and it was like, okay, this is kind of entertaining, whatever. No big deal, right? So then Taylor tells me probably like every 2 or 3 days, Taylor's like, watch Thor Ragnarok. Watch Thor Ragnarok. And I go, okay, but I'm not into MCU, like whatever. But he's like, it doesn't matter. You don't need to know anything. I haven't seen the first two. Just watch it. And I effing loved it. That movie's so well done.
It's so funny.
It's so funny. It's so good. So I just loved it standalone, right? And then WandaVision comes out, and it came out at a good time because like there's like
it really did.
exciting on Netflix. American Idol hasn't started yet. You know, there's just no reason at all to not watch it. So I'm watching it, and people really hate it on the first 3 episodes. And
First
I
two are definitely.
Yeah. But I thought to myself, this is such a unique and creative take on a superhero. Like, even if all it was, you know, sitcom, whatever versions of superheroes, I'm in. But unexpectedly to me, it got crazier, and there was the world outside of the sitcoms. And I was like, so who the fuck is Wanda and Vision really? You know? So then I go back and I start watching what did I start with? Ultron, Age of Ultron.
Yeah, that's where Wanda.
Yeah, that's where they show up. And I'm like, okay, this is getting somewhere. And now I've watched, you know, Infinity, Endgame, Civil War. You know, I actually have seen Guardians of the Galaxy. I love those too. But I have to say, very similar to how I feel about the storyline and what they've done with Star Wars is what they did with this new MCU. I mean,
Absolutely.
It's crazy that Thor Ragnarok ends and Infinity War starts on the same, you know,
like the second.
Yeah. And there's so many things, you know, I thought they did a great job with Spider-Man. Like the Spider-Man movie was hilarious and well done. And his whole dynamic with Iron Man and Robert Downey Jr. It's just, but now like it's become something where my wife and I, we always have this routine where we pick something to watch when we go to sleep because we've seen it 100 times. And now it's just all MCU movies. We switch back and forth between Endgame, Infinity War, Guardians, Thor, whatever. And so, you know, I end up watching a good amount of it, but I'm what, 10, 15 years late, but it's fucking fantastic.
So we've seen them all. Our next goal is we're going to watch them all chronologically.
Yeah.
Not when they released, but when it happened in time. So like we're going to start with Captain America, which was like World War II. And then it skips ahead to like Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And then the Iron Mans, and then watch it in time order, I guess is the right way to say it.
I still haven't seen Captain Marvel. I haven't seen like Ant-Man. I'm looking forward to doing those. But like, all right, you remember Ragnarok at the beginning where Matt Damon is playing Loki and like they do the weird play?
That's hysterical.
It's so good, but like I had no reference for that. I'm watching it happen for the first time, like that's Matt Damon and this is fucking hilarious. And
but you don't know what they were acting out.
Yes, yeah. And then when I finally did, I think it was this past weekend, I finally watched that Thor, and then I was like, man, this is just like that fucking play in Ragnarok. You know what I mean? It's funny, like watching things backwards, or you know, wanting to know what they're talking about and referencing in a later movie, and then going back and watching an earlier movie to figure it out.
Even just the little stuff in WandaVision, like I can't remember the FBI guy's name.
Yeah, I knew you're talking about.
So when
but that's racist.
When he introduces himself, he like flips like a little card trick.
Yeah,
that's from Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Okay.
Like when he meets Ant-Man is doing card tricks, and the FBI guy's like, "Yo, how'd you do that?"
Oh, the FBI guy's in Ant-Man?
Yes.
Yo, because I'm watching Thor. I'm like, there's Darcy.
Yeah.
You know, everything's going in reverse for me.
Yeah, it's they really intertwined it nicely. Fish, that's not right.
He's just making shit up.
That's
I
just
think
not
from-
right at all.
From SVU.
No, Colston's the guy from Shield, but he's not the guy. He's not the FBI guy.
All right. Did you watch the movie on? You don't have HBO Max, do you?
I do not.
So there's a new movie out with. It's like an all-star cast. I wish I talked to Taylor about this. Jared Leto, Denzel Washington, and the guy that plays Freddie Mercury.
Okay.
What's his
I
name?
don't. You could say it, and I would not know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's like Remy
Raimi?
Malek. Remy Malek.
Malik. Yeah, I don't know. Rami Malik. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
Something. Yeah, something. Very, very crazy movie. It's a little bit long. My wife and I were so into it, the edge of our seats, and I want more people to see it and to talk to people about it.
Give me that HBO Max pass, and I'll.
I tried to give it to Robin's sister, and I don't know if I'm even paying for it. I can't find a charge for it on my card. I can't find any emails or billing statements or anything, and I don't know how it's getting done.
Might want to keep that on the hush.
Here's what happened when COVID started. HBO put out like, "Hey, get an account with us, and you get all of this free content. We're going to give you, limited stuff like Sopranos and whatever, but you're not going to get everything." I did that. And as far as I know, I'm getting everything at the moment, and I don't know how. So I tried to figure out my login. I tried 100 things because they've got Friends on it right now, I think, and Robin's sister wanted it for Friends. So we tried 100 logins and none of them work, and I just can't really figure it out. But it works on my TV. So
I was a big Sopranos guy, and I never watched it live. I had to catch up after it was over, but I definitely enjoyed The Sopranos.
Yeah, I watched it. I started to get into it maybe last year, and I watched a good couple seasons, and I was really into it. And then I don't know, maybe I just got busy or something else happened. Maybe it was COVID. I don't know.
Blame COVID.
Yeah, and then I just stopped. No, it had to have been at the beginning of COVID. I don't know, but we'll see. You cracking another one, or are you good?
What are you doing?
I still have half a beer here, so we can hang out for a minute.
Oh, yeah,
I have to pee though, and there's nobody to talk to. We got to get somebody to come on here. Let's see if Fish wants to hang out. Fish, come hop on the show. I'm posting the link in the comments.
Fish, you're so last year, Tiger King. Come on.
Last year.
I'm gonna crack the McCall's IPA.
I'm curious to see what you think. I obviously had one yesterday. Robin drank one today, and it was awesome. I can't hold it anymore. I'm just gonna have to pee real quick.
Go do it. We'll see if anybody's out there. Who's out there? Fish, you out there? Not that John can bring you on because he's not here, so you might be in the waiting room. It's just me. So if anybody is listening, I will be on Might Be News. We're recording tomorrow, and I will be that'll be released on Monday. So you get to hear me with the Might Be News on Monday. Check that out. Check out our website too. Our website's doing some fun things. We got a new something new coming up next month. I'll just say that, and hopefully next month you'll check that out and see what we got going on.
Waiting for my my future IPA. I'm excited to get done.
When's that go in the carb?
I don't know. I think I told you, but what I'm really scared about is a lot of people say that little contraption doesn't work well.
What contraption?
That the beer goes in, and when you carb it, that it leaks, and there's just this and that, whatever. So I'm kind of curious to see what happens. I dry hopped it. I think either tonight or tomorrow it's going to cold crash, and then it's going to tell me probably on Saturday to throw it in the fridge. But it's really crazy. I saw these guys. They you've seen the inside of it now, right? Like where like the bag. I don't know if you've ever seen the bag sitting in there, but these guys in this group that I'm in, they instead of using that, they're using those like little mini kegs, little mini pressurized kegs.
Yeah.
And they're hooking a line to that and to the bag and then to CO2. And then they push the CO2 into the bag so it pushes out the bottom and fills your keg up so that there's no oxygen getting in, but you're keeping it in a keg instead of like that little beer tap contraption. But I don't know. I cleaned it out the other day. I'm probably going to clean it out again before this one goes in. But it doesn't look as dark as the last one. This one's a little bit lighter looking.
Did you finish the first one? Like finish drinking?
Yeah. Yeah. My neighbor came over next door and poured a couple for him. And then just this one night, man, I had it on the counter and I just like kept refilling my glass. I'm like, this thing's got to be almost done. And like, I think I had 3 like full glasses of it. I was like, no, I'm going to be wasted. I can't drink any more of this thing.
On the next one, we should figure out exactly how many glasses it is.
Yeah. Another thing I figured out is when you carb it, you put the CO2 on it, that's going to last a couple of days. So if you're going to let it sit for 3 or 4 days, that's fine. But then like we had the issue with, you got to recharge it because the pressure is going to die out because there's no more CO2. So let that thing go in there. And then as soon as it starts pouring slow, just throw in a new cartridge.
Switch it out.
And it poured fine the whole rest of the time until it ran out.
Did you ever put that video out?
No, I didn't. I'm trying to edit a bunch of stuff together. I have to watch it because I got to make sure the audio is okay. But I'm trying to edit it into like I was trying to do like separate videos, and then I was like, I'm just gonna make one video for like everything, and try to cut out a bunch of the nonsense and see how it goes. But we'll see. How do you like that thing?
It's a little sweet.
It is.
But it's good.
Craig said it is their most popular and untapped. I thought it was fantastic. It's just like it's so juicy on the nose. There's so much like citrus, and you can almost get sweet off the nose.
Mm-hmm.
But it's delicious. And that pale ale to me, the nose reminded me of Cloudy.
Oh.
And I'm wondering if I don't know if it's the Munich malts, if it's the cashmere. Like, I don't know if you're going to get malts off the nose. Really, you know?
Depends on your nose.
Yeah. I don't think I'm that well calibrated.
I'm not.
But I want to do that soon. I want to get Cicerone.
Cicerone.
And on the show and have us all have the same beers. And what I struggle with is like, do we get some like local craft beers, or do we get things that are like very well known so that we can try to get as many people as possible in any market?
Like a Bell's Two Hearted.
Yeah. And have like to drink it with them and then have them describe like, you're getting this and this, and do you taste that, and blah, 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 and kind of learn a little bit more about how to taste beer.
We could try and do the program.
Look at that sick beard.
It's like a juvenile Wolverine.
It did remind me a little bit of Wolverine.
What's up, guys?
Or Ted Cruz. I don't know.
What up, yo?
I'm just kidding.
I wish I was in Cancun.
Yeah, right.
Don't you?
Why didn't he have to quarantine when he got back?
I guess travel restriction.
He did or didn't?
He didn't. Why didn't he? He should.
Why didn't he?
Yeah, you got to quarantine when you come back from places, right?
Don't know. He can do it once. It's Ted Cruz.
He was just dropping kids off.
Looks like Eddie Munster.
I wish I had the kind of money where I was like, oh, you guys want to go to Cancun or you guys want to go here? No problem. We'll just but I'm going to go with you just to drop you off to a hotel or to a Uber and then fly first class back home.
Fish knows my area, John, a little bit. My daughter's best friend, if you go down 17th Avenue and take a left on Olive and go like 4 blocks that way, that's where her best friend lives. I don't want to drop her off there.
Yeah.
But Ted Cruz is dropping off in Cancun.
Remember the old days when, your parents would say, we would, go to an airport and maybe like put the kids on the airplane and have you fly down to, such and such's house?
Unaccompanied minor.
Who the hell would do that nowadays?
Nobody.
With my kids. I have trouble doing with my 16-year-old. I wouldn't,
I actually did that a lot. I did that like every year for a long time when I was young. I guess my grandfather on my mom's side was probably like the only one that really had any kind of money. So he would fly me out to California every summer to spend at least a week, sometimes 2 weeks, with that side of the family out there. So that's what they would do. Like they would take me to the airport. Somebody would be like, all right, come with me. We would go to like some back room in the airport that had like, Lincoln Logs.
Rubber gloves.
Whatever that toy is where you move the things across the little wire,
Gotcha.
And you sat in there with a bunch of other kids that had parents that didn't love them and get ready to get on a flight. But yeah, I did that a lot, man. It was really
You're
crazy.
writing coach, young kid.
Yeah, they would get you they'd get you on the plane first. They would like, I don't know, they would always just like come check on me like a bunch of extra times. Like, do you want another Coke or, do you want to like do some Coke after this flight? And, just.
We can't believe your parents dropped you off here.
You ever been to a Turkish prison?
Yeah. But no, the flight attendants were always like super nice. And it was, I don't know. It's just funny you brought that up because that was a lot of my childhood.
Wow. That's funny.
Sean's fucked up.
I never traveled anywhere.
Yeah, no, the California thing I did all the time. That whole thing was weird, man. I don't know. Maybe that's a different podcast where I talk about the weird family stuff. All the weird family stuff.
Might be abuse.
The Uncle Eddie in your family.
Not that. It's just like, it's just weird. I don't know. Everybody's got weird family that does weird things, right? Or is it just me?
Everybody has their Uncle Eddie,
Dun-bum-bum-bow.
What was that?
There it is.
What was that story about like some uncle, some guy in like Upper Darby? Oh God, I think Steve, when we were like in high school, some guy like outside of Philadelphia was like collecting like underwear from kids. What the hell was that? I feel like Uncle Eddie was like the name of this person. That's why I said that earlier. Am I off base?
Like a long time ago.
There was an Uncle Eddie. There was definitely an Uncle Eddie. I'm literally looking it up on Wikipedia now.
Okay.
He was in Rittenhouse Square.
Okay.
And for years was known by the male youth of the area for a quick source of cash.
Because they would sell
he
his
was like
underwear
a child
to him.
guy.
What?
Right? They would sell underwear to him.
Savitz was arrested in 1978 on an indecent assault charge. His record was expunged after he completed rehabilitation. In 1990, he was found not guilty on charges relating to the purchase of minors' soiled underwear.
Holy shit.
That's what Uncle Eddie said.
Yeah, that makes it sound like my family's really weird. Like I was going to be like, my grandfather just keeps marrying different Vietnamese women, but like didn't feel like getting into that. Like that's not even that weird compared to. I just have to throw that out there now because like my grandfather does not sell underwear or buy underwear. I'm sure he buys underwear, but not from minors.
Should we
We're
change
getting
subject?
dark.
Yeah. Yo, so Stolen Sun, I'm excited for their next beer. They do you see that Mosaic Wizard IPA?
Yeah, I did. What's
If the
that
word-
come out
I
tomorrow?
don't know what that means, but I just love it.
If it involves Mosaic, Steve is all over it.
Yeah.
I'm in.
I love Mosaic too. I'm Oh, I did see people posting a Pliny clone for the beer maker.
Oh,
And I'm thinking we got to try it. I can't imagine it works
Like a
out.
Pliny pod, like a coffee pod.
Yeah. Did you see any of the pictures or videos yet of this thing? I got to show it to you sometime. It's like right there. I'm like looking at it, but
So I
You
saw
can
your,
touch it.
your video you did on the beer maker. It's pretty cool.
yeah, okay.
I
So you
enjoyed
get the idea of the contraption, but
Yep. Saw that.
you know, I think there's only so much room for putting in grain and doing things like that. So these other recipes that I'm seeing that to customize things is you do like a boil on the side with grains and then hop additions on a schedule and then take that out and then use that wort that you've already made as the water that you would put in with these other grains for it to do the other process. So you're kind of like pre-making some beer.
doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose of the beer maker?
Yeah, I think so. But if you want like a double IPA or something that's got like a bit more kick, maybe, I think that's the way to go. It is kind of funny though, because that's like exactly, but I see it all the time. Like any group that you get into where people are really like passionate about something in particular, like even smokers and whatever else, like the idea is that like this is how it was made, this is how it works. And then everybody's trying to like make it better and mod it and come out with something. It's like, oh, well, here's like a CO2 regulator mod for the beer tap, and here's a way that you can like do this or do that to add an extra flavor to the beer and whatever. And I don't know, it's kind of interesting. But I mean, I may try something like that just to try to get maybe a heavier beer because you can only fit so much grain in there. But I think I'm going to do the stout next. So we got to talk about, I want to do like maybe put some bourbon in.
Cool.
Ooh.
And then we're talking about add some, at least like in the group, people were saying like add some flaked oat into the recipe to give it like a thicker mouthfeel.
Good idea.
So I might do that too. I don't know if I should do coffee. I don't know how to do bourbon. Or I mean, if I do actual bourbon, do I need to do like oak chips or anything like that? Like I don't know how that works. I'm
Yeah,
so
shave some Hershey's, chocolate bars in there or what?
It's, I don't know, because people say that like cocoa nibs are probably the best way to get chocolate in because they're like bitter and they're not like processed chocolate. It's like actual chocolate. So you get those flavors.
Not
But,
sweet
like,
chocolate.
Yeah, but unsweetened because the sugars don't get processed very well or they get eaten really quickly. I don't know which one it is, but like putting sweet candy into stouts, usually you don't get the sweetness out of it. So you may get some of like the chocolate or the fruit or whatever else that's in there, the cookie that you're trying to get. Then you have to find a way to get that sweetness in there by doing something else, I think.
Gotcha.
He says do oak chips.
Oak
Do you
chips.
do like
Nice.
bourbon oak chips? That's a good idea.
We should talk to.
Do it.
He froze.
We should talk to Evan.
Evan? Yeah. He still hasn't dropped those beers off. He's not on the, I don't know if he's listening.
I think I saw
I have
something about a Kit Kat there.
Yeah, I'm putting Kit Kats and Twix in that shit. Let's go.
Nice.
We got to figure that out.
I have beers from Fish for Evan.
Okay. Yeah, so he was like, hey, he's like, I don't know if I have any bottles left. Maybe I can find a growler. we'll see, but I'll try to get you some beer. So I said, all right. He
Yeah,
said,
2 weeks ago he mentioned he would send me a bottle or whatever during the we know why you guys were drinking the his stout last week.
Yeah. So then he said, all right, I think I found some more stuff. I'll drop it off in the morning. And then he said, oh, I got too busy. I had to run all the way up to Quakertown or something first thing in the morning for a job.
Which is
He
cool.
went to Spinnersville Hotel.
Yeah, probably. So I said, hey, I think we're going to miss fish on this trip. So don't kill yourself or rush yourself. But next time you get a chance, drop it off and we'll make sure that it works out.
Gotcha.
I forgot to ask her if Spinnersville Hotel is an actual hotel.
Yeah.
Like, do they have a room there? I can just get wrecked one night and crawl upstairs.
It's going to be gone by the time I don't have it in my schedule to go up there.
It does sound like a good variant, though.
Yeah, it does. No, it sounds good. Elders on. I mean, it's crazy. I would love to go there tomorrow. Just go get an early
To name
dinner.
any random day.
Yeah.
What about all right, this is gonna completely out of left field, but I saw this video today about how they make, I don't even know how to say it, Worcestershire sauce.
How did I see the same video? Where was it at?
Probably with the lady that didn't like it.
With the anchovies?
Yeah,
Worcestershire.
yeah, because it's from Worcestershire. Like Worcester, Mass. They call it Worcester instead of Worcester or Worcester.
Now, is it from up in the Massachusetts area?
No, it's from England.
England.
Worcester.
'Cause
That
there's
Worcester.
Worcester and then Worcestershire. I guess that's how you say it. But
The
anyway,
Shire of Worcester.
yeah. So they go through all of the ingredients, and I don't know if Mr. Steve, if you saw the same video that I did, they were talking about that some guy went off to, was it like Africa or Asia, the Middle East, I don't know, and he found this like sauce that he was like, this is incredible, and he found out the recipe from somebody, brought it back, and then tried to have it reproduced, and then just like disappeared. And the people that were reproducing it for him, that was like a pharmacy, which sounded dope, by the way. Like if you ever like hear those stories about pharmacies back in the day, like they were pretty much like making cocaine and heroin, I think. And then if you're like, oh, my arm, my shoulder's jacked up, and they'll be like, here, like sniff this powder and go lay down.
Or no rules. No rules back then.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I know there's like a couple other jokes where like they would they like put a nail up your nose or something and relieve pressure.
Yeah.
Weird shit like that. But
Maggots.
the pharmacies would like make medicine pretty much like with no approval whatsoever. They were just trying to figure shit out as they went. And then they like started making soda. And then Worcestershire sauce, I guess. But anyway, I was like, man,
Worcestershire is like a big concoction of like so many like flavors and things.
yeah, there's vinegar.
What the hell really is in there?
Vinegars, onion, garlic, salt,
Yeah.
anchovies.
I put it in my ground beef for burgers on the grill.
I bet, yeah.
And that's good. I really enjoy that. Yeah, I use Worcestershire for that. And that's really, honestly, that's about it.
Chill.
I don't
Throw
use
it in
for
some
steak.
chili. Throw it in some chili.
Chili?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But, I think that's part of being educated, right? You on anything. If you spend that much time, like the whole 5 or 6 minutes that I did,
That Hidden River John.
So if you spend that much time learning about something and appreciating something, then like you're going to be that much more interested and invested into using it or enjoying it or whatever. So I kind of feel like that's what happened with like the Worcestershire sauces. I'm like, you watch this video about it and you're like, man, that's so fucking complex. Maybe I need to think about it differently. And I literally came downstairs and poured myself a spoonful of Worcestershire sauce out of my fridge. And I was like, man, that is fucking complex as shit, isn't it? Like, man, I need to like really think about this. And why don't I use this more? It's really good.
The other thing too is you got to shake it really well. I mean, that stuff really separates. There's a lot of stuff in there, like you said. I know when I pull out the Worcestershire, it's there's a good cakey film at the bottom, and you really got to agitate it up, to get that back to where it was. But it's whatever the hell's in there, it's good.
Man.
But like I said, I use my burgers, and it's great for the burgers.
Yeah, it definitely complements beef, I think, for sure.
Right.
But that stuff sits around for like years.
We just threw out a bottle like 2 months ago, and it was like 4 years past expiration.
1999.
To make it, like
it came with the house.
Even to make it, they've got stuff sitting and fermenting for like 2 years before they even like put it into like the machine that's gonna like pasteurize it. But it's just wild.
The last time I had Hidden River, it was with you guys about a year ago
at the Kennett Brewfest.
At Kennett, right before the shit hit the fan.
It was 2/29. It was on leap year.
What's Fish doing on Friday?
Oh, next Friday. Oh, finishing his kitchen. That's what he's doing.
Something like that, yeah. To be determined, but probably something like that, yeah. So
that's exciting, though.
It's been quite an endeavor, I'll tell you that. So,
yeah.
So it's been exhausting. We've been doing it since that week between Christmas and New Year's. We started doing it.
Is it just because it's a lengthy process, or did you just like run into like issue after issue?
No issues. It's been a complete leveling of the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
The floors are out, ceilings are out. Then I wanted new lights in different locations. That's a whole new floor plan.
Wow.
We had a very small pantry, which is a closet.
Mm-hmm.
And we now have a larger pantry, which you can walk into. We now have a dedicated area for the washer and dryer behind a closed door. And it's a totally different layout altogether.
Yeah,
it's,
sure.
If I could do the PowerPoint presentation for you, from what it was to now, when Steve comes over in August for the draft, he's gonna be like, "What the hell's this?" You're not gonna recognize it. You really won't. It's a huge change. I mean, we actually made structural changes as well.
Yep.
I work with an engineer, and I consulted her because I had to make a span longer. Had to move a column 24 inches back from where it was. She gave me the right information. The house is still standing.
Yeah, that's good.
For now.
And it's but it's been a huge change. It's huge. All the drywall is up now, and I have a guy from my work who's very good at taping and spackling. Thank God, because I'm horrible at it.
Yeah, right.
It'll take a month for me to do it.
Yep.
And he's going to come here starting tomorrow for the next 3 or 4 days, really. And by next weekend, I think we will be painting and maybe doing some flooring as well. So
nice.
It's a big endeavor.
Yeah.
New cabinets. It's a lot. I'm exhausted.
Yeah, no, I believe it.
So
I've done some projects at my old place. We did floors here. We started finishing the basement and then stopped. We just were like, hey, just get started, and they like threw up some framing and whatever, but we never really finished that off. And then just a bunch of other shit went down.
Gotcha.
And so we've talked about doing our kitchen, but like I have such a hard, I don't know. It's so weird nowadays because I'm like, what do you really do with your money? If you do have enough to like redo or remodel something or whatever, do you do that, or can you like make it last? Do you invest some? Do you try to like save? I don't know. It's such like a hard thing to figure out priorities.
Do you rip bong hits on a podcast?
I don't think I have. But you know what I mean?
But
Like,
I mean, it's like, yeah, I get it. I totally get it. You know, it's. I think it comes down to the whole premise of, you know, spend it before you lose it. You know,
yeah, well,
you know, what do you want to do? Do you want to take a vacation? Do you want to, you know, do you want to buy a boat? Do you want to do this? Do you want to go to Europe? You know, it's those kind of things that, you know, enjoy it while you can.
Are you
wife-
allowed to go on vacation?
Yeah. What's that?
Are you allowed to go on vacation?
Yeah. That's a big thing. So my wife and I had that thought because we were thinking to ourselves like, all right, we've been very lucky lately, and what do we do with some extra stuff we got sitting around? And we ended up deciding to get a vacation property,
Mhm.
which is exciting and cool and whatever. And we got it for cheap. We knew we had to put work into it. We put a bunch of work into it. I didn't mean to hit that. And then, you know, but then it's like, but we kind of had that same thought. Like, if we just let it sit there, we'll probably end up like just going out to eat and blowing it. Like, let's spend it on something that we're actually going to enjoy and have use, and you know, hopefully some real estate value or whatever. But like, it'll be like a decent thing to do so that we don't end up just like blowing it on dumb shit.
Mhm.
Part of me kind of wishes like, you know, if that ever happens again, that we can maybe put some away. And you know, I think more than anything, I would love for my wife to like not have to work, or maybe just retire early, like one of those two, maybe, you know.
Gotcha.
So I think that would be like my next priority after like paying some of this junk off and doing a couple more changes. I still want to finish the basement off because my whole dream is that like, I don't know, like I'm working out of my bedroom. I have like a desk in the corner of my bedroom, and you know, I podcast here in the living room. Like, I'd like to make a nice little space in the basement to podcast, to work, to record videos and stuff like that.
Buy yourself a decent light.
Yeah. I do a ton of YouTube content for my company and like stuff like that. I do training videos and all that stuff, and it's just like a pain to set things up and try to
Mhm.
record in my bedroom in like a way that's like not awkward. And so I'd really like to set up some kind of space down there to do that.
So it sounds like you need that basement. Yeah, you need that basement set up to, you know, be multi-functional for you.
Yeah.
To do the, you know, the recordings
Yep.
for work.
This work, just working from home, like
And a
having
general crash area, I'm sure, right?
office space. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't
So
know.
what next time I'm over, I mean, if I'm, you know, if I can, you know, get out there on the free time, you know, I love to brainstorm that kind of stuff in a man cave. And
Yeah.
I hate to give my wife credit, but she's very good at space planning. She's really good at laying things out and having things kind of, you know, this is here, this is there, you know, that's really good. She's very good at it. Like I said, I hate to give her credit, but she's really good at it. So
I believe it. My wife's good at that stuff. A lot of times I try to like disagree with her, like, oh, that's dumb. And she's like, I'm telling you, it's the only way it's going to work. And sure enough, she's right every time. No, but I really want this like 70-inch TV on this wall. It's like, no, trust me.
Gotcha.
Every time.
Gotcha. Yeah, down here, my wife laid out, there's a column behind me that messes things up. But my wife laid it out very well where the column is hidden in a wall.
Mm-hmm.
And between that and the outside wall is a little larger closet. But it all kind of builds around making a large bedroom, which is behind me, which Mr. Steve has crashed in a couple times before. And the bedroom is really spacious for, you know,
For a guest
you know,
room,
a
it's
few
huge.
nights for a guest. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, when my in-laws are up here, they're typically down. They have the basement down here, the whole thing to themselves. My father-in-law hasn't been here since the bar's been built. He's gonna love it when he finally gets up here next. But you know, it's a huge space, and now we have bathroom over there as well. Well, that's been there before, but the bathroom has it's a full operating bathroom with with a sink, toilet, shower.
Holy shit! Yeah.
So down here they're fully sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they need to do,
That's nice.
it's all down here. So
Was that roughed in when you bought the house?
yes, I paid like an extra $700, whatever the hell
That's
that
it?
was. It wasn't much. Yeah,
Wow.
they put the pipe under the under the slab before the concrete slab was poured.
We could have roughed in one in our basement, but it was going to be like, it was more than 700. I don't remember what it was. I thought it was like a couple grand.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah.
That's a reach. That's a shame. It shouldn't be that much. That's ridiculous. Someone got greedy to try and make some cash, and
with the new constructions, that's what it's about. It's about the add-ons,
the extras, right?
the extras.
Right. Yep. You want this color siding. They add
You want this crown molding. You want these cabinet fixtures. You want I want to say it was at least 25 grand in extras. But you've been to my house. It's not like super extras. It's just like normal stuff.
Gotcha. I mean, I don't know what the base house is, over there, but that's a shame because you can make your money, but you don't have to be a pig about it.
So
and
that
go for 5 times the amount of money, versus twice.
So in our second level where we have our kitchen, and then that back room we have it as our playroom.
Right.
That's technically a bump out. That's an extra space. Yep.
Get out.
So imagine that bump out, and then that also bumps out the basement.
Right.
So
that's all 3 levels.
So if we didn't add that bump out, think of how much space we would have lost.
That's a really huge difference. Now, what's above there? Is that your bedroom or the kids' bedroom?
No, there's nothing above there. There's a roof there. Our bedroom is back.
Oh,
our bedroom is like almost above our kitchen.
Wow. I mean, but that's a huge difference to that floor. That main floor of yours?
And to the basement.
Yeah, because I mean, for that main floor, you have, your front room is your living room, and then it's the kitchen. And if you don't have that,
that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
I mean, and that's a big room because I know you guys kind of treat that as like a kid/sitting room,
Yeah.
That's a big. It's a good thing you put that in too. I mean, that's great for resale, which I know you're looking into, obviously. So,
fingers crossed.
How's the flooring endeavor?
Don't ask.
Okay.
We somehow have a leak that we're trying to address now. So we're trying to address the leak before the flooring.
Gotcha.
But we can't find the leak. So there's going to be some tearing apart to find the leak.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible. I think I'm going to run to Stolen Sun tomorrow.
I thought you were going to say now. I think I'm going to run to Stolen Sun.
Not right now. I'm going to go to bed. But how do you want anything, or do you want to try to like meet up? Or I'm going to have the kids, so I got to go with the kids. I'm either going to do curbside, or I might actually like run in and try to like feed them. I don't know.
Well, I'm working at the office tomorrow, and then I got to come home because the kids are getting off the bus, and then I'm going on news at whatever time we do it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if like maybe if I run out at like 4:30ish or something when my work should be wrapping up, and maybe I can just run up there and like either I don't know. I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to like feed the kids there or just do like a quick curbside pickup and then come home and eat. No, I got to make pizza tomorrow. I have pizza dough that I have to use.
That's what we're doing. I got
Yeah.
Wegmans pizza dough.
Nice. Yeah. So I'm going to do pizza for dinner. So that means that I'll probably just do curbside. Do you want anything? Do you want me to get you like a 4-pack of any of that stuff?
I would definitely split a mosaic with you if you want to do that.
All right. I'm hoping I'm going to really like it. And
I'm going to try that cast iron skillet pizza tomorrow.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't have a cast iron.
I use my cast iron a lot.
I've used a regular non-stick pan for pizza before. That's okay.
I want to make some sort of garlic butter to brush around the crust. That's my
Nice.
doing it. Do it.
How's that cast iron work? Do you have to like oil that up often, or you gotta season it, or
Are you
it's a touchy
supposed?
thing?
Are you supposed to? Yes. Do I? No.
How do you clean it? Do you actually clean it? Like,
I wash it like a regular pan.
okay.
And really, the most that I cook in it, I really cook a lot of steak in there.
Yeah.
And I just turn that shit up as high as I can get it to go, and it turns out great. So I don't mess with it.
Fish, do you like that?
This is one of the smoothest doubles I've ever had.
It's so good.
I like that one a lot.
This is so damn smooth. Wow.
I didn't like the other one as much.
Is that
I
what you
didn't
gave
give
me?
you one of the other ones, but that
You gave
one
me
I
the lager in the fooders.
yeah.
That was the other one you gave me.
Yeah, there was a little something off, but I ended up liking it.
This is
I
crazy
did too.
smooth. This is
But that double I really liked.
Fantastic.
yeah. This is yeah. Agreed.
It's a good one.
Totally. Oh, sediment.
I'm like struggling. I think it's too late now. I don't think I can crack another one.
Yeah, I'm about it's about that time.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna go to sleep. It's been a crazy day, crazy work day. But the whole show turned out pretty good. I was happy with it. They did a great job. I'm looking forward to future. We got to figure out the next one now. The next one's Locust Lane. Taylor said he's okay going on site, so if we're okay doing that, we can try to do that socially distanced. I don't know how we're going to StreamYard it.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Are we just going to do it as a podcast? Do we maybe do like a little bit of Facebook Live for maybe 10 minutes or so? I don't know what the answer is.
Steven just had a Dirt Wolf at victory. Dirt Wolf, man, that's a good one.
Love me some Dirt Wolf.
I never had that one.
Never had Dirt Wolf?
I don't think so. No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Gotta get you one of those. What's the what is it? Dirt King?
Did you just me?
I did.
Yeah, he did it. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that Imperial.
You gotta order a Dirt King. I guess only if they have Storm King on, because that's not a regular thing now.
Yeah.
But they'll mix Dirt Wolf with Storm King. I think there's a bunch of special menu stuff. You just have to like figure out the wording.
So I noticed on my my can of Imperial Cloudwalker, it was like the first of a small batch series.
So
is
they
there
tried.
is there a whole thing coming out soon with specialties on the old recipes?
They tried to do this with the farm to table series or whatever. And I think they did 4 or 5 of them, but only like one of them was good. So hopefully if they are going to do the small batch, I thought the Imperial Cloudwalker was good. It wasn't the greatest thing I've ever had, but it was good. It was solid. So hopefully they keep that up. The first one I had was after I had to shovel the last time, and it might have been the best beer I've ever had.
Yeah.
That's how that always is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I had another one. I was like, well, it's not the best beer I've ever had. It's still pretty good.
Yeah.
But after shoveling, it was fucking money.
Oh yeah.
I had one of those animated beers right after I shoveled, and I was like, this is the best fucking hazy John I've ever had. And
even the Jersey snow gives you that same appearance of a beer. And that's about half the amount.
Delaware being, at least where I'm at, is like 2 hours south, gets like no snow. It's so weird that like every time we get hammered, they get nothing, or they get a coating and it's gone in an hour. It's not that far away, and there's just no snow there.
Yeah.
I drove down there this weekend, and the bed of my pickup truck was full of snow. I was like, I'm pretty sure I've got more snow in my truck right now than the whole effing state of Delaware.
Yeah. Where I work in Millville, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Millville, New Jersey, when you look at the map,
yeah,
it's the same latitude as Smyrna, Delaware.
Yep.
So you think about how far down that is from where you guys are at.
Yeah,
When, when it snows,
yeah,
shit happening. It's very tame down there.
yeah.
It's the same kind of a thing.
I see you. Yeah, I'm a lot further down than Smyrna. Smyrna's like probably not even halfway.
Okay. How far down is that? Where are you heading to?
Long Neck. It's like 20 minutes south of Rehoboth.
Oh, geez, you're practically Maryland.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Pretty far down there.
Yeah, by the time you're down there, it's just that's nothing.
Yeah. But we gotta plan that. I was wanting to message you guys in the group, but I think we should try to schedule a springish, summerish date and see if we can't do like a Delaware guys like beer share or something or whatever. Just go down, drive golf carts around, drink beer.
Guys weekend.
Music.
Sounds dangerous. Yeah.
Bay. We'll
Let me
see.
know.
I don't know. I really am like fingers crossed. There's going to be a boat this year, but I'm thinking that I'm probably going to be smart and wait till next year.
You got to go pontoon on the bay. That's what you got to.
Be a pontoon 100%. It's just a matter of how things go this year. If that happens this year or next year.
Pontoons are nice and safe. They're nice and easy to drive.
Yeah, yeah.
You can do it with 5 double IPAs in you. Can't mess with the pontoon.
Yeah. No, I learned a lot of my boating with like a dozen Stellas in me. So I feel like every time I went out and did some boating, it was and for whatever reason. But all right, let's wrap this thing up. What do you say?
All right, guys.
Let's wrap it up.
Have a good night. Fish, always good talking to you.
Take care.
Everybody. If you stayed on this late and watched this long into the recording, thank you.
Hardcore.
You are hardcore. But, all right, guys, have a good night. Have a good
peace.
weekend.
Be good.
We'll
Be
talk
safe.
soon, Steve.
Night.
I'll talk to you Saturday.
Yeah.
All right, we'll work it out.
That's it.
All right, night, guys. Cheers.